that is a commentary on the meaninglessness of trophies and is actually cool.
It's performance art.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a rebuttal to the participation trophy blowback. Welcome to Spinsters, the podcast where it's internal. That worked?
That works.
Okay. I'm Haley. This is Jordan. We are joined by producer Harry, and we have a very special guest today, Rohan Nadkarni, who is going to help us break down what the fuck happened with the Suns, do a Kevin Love line, and in light of the Suns' loss, we are going to tell you the biggest public L's we have either taken, seen other people take, or have heard that people have taken in my specific case. Subscribe to our YouTube and keep sending us emails. They are fantastic. If you sent us the email about Pisces in the NBA, we did not touch on that today because I'm doing some research, but we are going to touch on it very, very soon. Thank you for sending that. It was important work. Okay, so we can start with the Suns meltdown.
Wow.
I don't know. It's kind of jarring to see something like that happen. Mm-hmm. And you just wonder, is it one of those things where reality is having like a crinkle in the paper? You know, there's like a crease and it just wasn't supposed to go like this, and you know, or whatever you believe. Like if you believe in God, you're just like, oh, he like fell asleep or something, or you know, like there's no way. I don't know if that's part of the folklore with God.
On this day, God took a nap. Yeah.
I mean,
it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
He rested.
It was so unusual. I just, in no world does that happen. This caliber of talented players have this off of games unanimously, and also one of your best players just like, I don't even know the story behind what happened to DeAndre Ayton. I can't wait to find out today from you guys, because I legitimately don't know. Rohan, were you there?
I was there. It was the first Game 7 I'd been to for Sports Social. I was so excited. I was like, this is going to be so cool. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be like, there's going to be some kind of legendary performance. And in a way there was. Right. I mean, in some ways it was like the most unique Game 7 ever. It was really sad. Like after the game, Cam Johnson, first of all, post-game press conference was easily the highlight of this entire day. First, there was a reporter who just got on the mic and no lotion was like, Monty, how did this happen? That's it. I was like, yo, oh my God.
Oh gosh.
This is so abrasive. And Monty Williams is just staring at him. Monty Williams is like the gentlest man, answers all your questions so thoughtfully. And Monty's just staring at this guy like, I think I've explained that. And he's like, how did this? He's like, what? He's like, what was the question? He's like, how did this happen? It's just so uncomfortable. So Monty's really upset. Then the guy's like, last year you blow a 2-0 lead. This year you blow a 2-0 lead again. He's like, what did you not learn from last year? Something like that. Like, it was so uncomfortable. Monty's just glaring at this guy as he walks out the door. Like, literally opens the door to go back into the hallway, looks back and glares at this guy who I think has no idea this is going on. But yeah, that was easily the highlight of the entire day. But then also Cam Johnson came out and you could tell it was really emotional for him. Like he was practically near tears the whole time. He was like, I just wish we could rewind the clock like 2 hours or 5 hours. Aww. And it was really sad. Yeah, and that's kind of how it felt. Like, can we play this again? Because this doesn't seem like how this was supposed to go. Like, I think the Suns were like, this is not real. Like, this is not possible. It was so strange.
It was. I tweeted this, but I had a pitch where you should get one game restart in the playoffs. It can't be past the first quarter, but I'm sure they would have taken it like a couple minutes in. Like, actually, let's just restart. Everyone
literally
gets
2
one.
minutes in. They would have been like,
because it was bad from the jump. It's not like it was, oh, this is getting worse, or the Suns never showed up. They were never even in the arena at any point mentally. So they would have used their restart. I would have voted for that from my experience too. Just set the broadcast over. Everybody does everything over again. And I hope the result would have been different.
I really like that idea. You don't always get new, let's reinvent the wheel basketball ideas, or like kind of off the wall things that remind you this. It's obviously just a game. You know, you always get like the ones that we've been talking about forever. Put the free throw, or not the free throw, the 3-point line back, and make the season shorter, and I don't know, make divisions matter somehow. Whatever. That's like a brand new one. That's actually really good.
Thank you.
You get one. The crucial thing about it is that it has to come in the first quarter.
Yes.
It can't come back past that, because then it's like, I think
absurd.
when I tested this idea on my fiance while we were watching, and I think I said the half, and I was like, nah, that's way too much basketball has been played.
Yeah.
Like, so many things could have happened then. But the first quarter, especially if you're playing any game just one-on-one with somebody, you're like, you know what, actually just start over. The vibes are off.
Yep.
Let's get a fresh start, 0-0. Like, every team should get one of those cards, just like a challenge.
It would be sick too. Like, you know, the teams could employ the card however they wanted to, like drop it from the rafters, or like a fan. One fan every night is trusted with the card. Like the Monty makes the signal and the fan comes down.
What's that person who Kiefer Sutherland played a role where it's like you're the one guy who
designated survivor.
The designated survivor. It's the designated restarter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah. I mean, the NBA,
something.
they do have like dramatics, like the challenge when they instituted that. They made a massive red thing that
the alarm.
Like,
not necessary at all.
Not
Totally
necessary
not
at all.
necessary. That's so
I just love when they flash to it. I think it's Greed. They flash to it, and they just have somebody, whoever's job it is, just to flick the light on.
Yeah.
Like, this shows we're challenging.
I have a conspiracy spur of the moment, not conspiracy, but capital T take.
Okay.
Is that the game started at 5 p.m. local time, which was 7 p.m. Dallas time. So maybe the Suns are just not prepared to play at 5 p.m. It was a weird start time.
That is weird.
Yeah.
It was. I remember that just when I was looking up the schedule. It was also a gap between the Celtics and Bucks, a weird, awkward gap.
And one of the players actually mentioned it.
I went
practice.
to the driving range between. Like, why did I have that much time? I literally went and hit a bunch of golf balls.
One of the players was like, it's a 5 p.m. start time, which is a little weird, but that's fine. And I was like,
I like that theory.
Yeah.
So they were just like 2 hours.
Yes.
Like he said, even Cam Johnson was like, if we could wind it back a couple hours, they would have been ready 2 hours later.
Because sometimes you play at like 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
You never. Sometimes I'm sure they played a few 5 o'clock games this year, but I don't know.
Let's go ahead and say
7?
never. No one's gonna check it.
No
one's gonna check it. It's a podcast. That might explain why I was chalking A-Rod falling asleep up to the fact that the game was so bad, but maybe it was because it was 10. No, it was only 8 Eastern. Never mind. He was just bored. We've got, so he fell asleep. Chris Paul, I guess this is after the fact, was called a cone, but like had the flop of his life, the dud of his life that game. The Suns literally issued an apology to the fans.
Yeah, that was tough. To the PayPal sixth man.
That
no.
That was really bad. You cannot do that.
Nope.
That is the equivalent of when Doc and Embiid shit on Ben Simmons. Like, you can't do that to your players. Not that we're not crediting the Mavs and the Mavs defense.
It's like, you guys were so bad, we need to quell the civil unrest in the city of Phoenix. Like,
Literally
I
issued
mean,
a
I would have
curfew.
been
Yeah.
mad that those people were so excited, and that was the worst. Like you said, it's historic in some instances,
yeah.
but that was not what we were all expecting. We wanted it to be close. Kind of both games didn't really give what it was supposed to give in the Game 7 vibes, but especially that. And I think it sucks because the Mavs and Luka's amazing performance, that's not what we gotta care
True.
about. It's the fact that it was against nobody. It was like 5-on-0. It's like
Yeah.
when I was in college and we ran plays, we did it against nobody first, so we made sure that we knew the plays. That's what they were doing against the Suns. Nobody was there.
That's what it would have looked like if an NBA team actually played a good college team. Like if we got like number undefeated Kentucky against the Dallas Mavericks. That's what that was.
We didn't have to go Kentucky. They didn't have the best year this year. We could have picked any other team. Just saying. It's like they literally got eliminated by a fucking peacock, so pick another team. Okay, for your little example. On my podcast.
Sorry. All I know is that Kentucky's usually good, so I just was like,
well, why don't you rethink that? I got a PowerPoint for you that actually suggests that they are not good at all.
Subscribe to Spinsters YouTube.
Wait, all right. So tell me what happened with the DeAndre Ayton thing. I've caught bits and pieces of this about the press conference, and then Harry mostly told me about what happened after the fact. And I've just been left wondering.
Okay, well, this all starts with me. So I love the Phoenix Suns color scheme, okay?
What?
And I've been in Phoenix for like 2 years in a row for a long time. I've spent a lot of time in Phoenix now. And I was like, I'm buying something at the team shop this time. I don't care. Like, I love the Valley colors and all that stuff. And I did a story on DeAndre Ayton. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't care. I have an income. I'm going to buy DeAndre Ayton jersey at the team store.
Jersey.
And little did I know that this set off a chain of events. So, I dropped a cool like 43, 45 at the team store right before the game. And I'm like, this is going to age well. He's a young up and coming player on the team. They're going to want to keep him around. He's been so good in the playoffs, at least up until the last couple games of the series. No, this was me being told immediately this was a big mistake. So again, in all seriousness, like the thing that needs to be made clear here is Monty Williams is so patient and so gracious every time he's asked a question. Like he never seems to be like upset talking to the media, never seems to be the person trying to get out of there. Is very like forthcoming about his emotions and all these things. Like he never seems to be hiding anything. And honestly, during the game, they were getting whooped so hard. I didn't even realize that DeAndre Ayton hadn't come back into the game because I was
Me either.
I was like, oh, they're not playing everyone. I mean, they're getting their asses kicked. Now, granted, Chris Paul and Devin Booker both were in the game in the fourth, but those guys are also maniacs, so that's fine. But then after the game, a reporter's like, hey, DeAndre Ayton played only 17 minutes and none in the fourth. And I was like, yeah, did you watch the game, buddy? And then all of a sudden, Monty's like, before the guy can even finish his question, Monty's just like, it's internal. And then that was that. There was an awkward
reenactment
silence.
really changed it.
And there was an awkward silence. Like it was clear that he wasn't going to answer a follow-up. There was like a hush came over the room. Like it was like someone uninvited walked into the party, you know? It was like an absolute hush came over the room, and I was like, okay. And then I've seen people tweet that, like, I guess there was a closeout that DeAndre Ayton didn't try on. Again, it was hard to pick up on stuff like that just because it was like they were down 40 points. And then some people were tweeting that there was some kind of interaction he had with Monty where he was going to the sideline and Monty was like, do you want to play? And Ayton said something and they had to be like almost separated. I don't know. There was another question that night to Devin Booker about like DeAndre Ayton's contract situation. And it kind of felt like a softball for Devin Booker to be like, oh, we want him back. He's a big part of the team. It was a weirdly worded question, but no one's offered DeAndre Ayton an endorsement. And I think the value of my t-shirt is going to crash very shortly.
Oh, no.
Or it's gonna be like one of those cool,
right.
you know,
Retro.
Remember when? Yes.
mellow Hawks jerseys.
Yes, true.
I also saw on Twitter, because when Harry told me about its internal thing, and he sent me, I think, your tweet actually. I looked up DeAndre Ayton on Twitter. Very investigative work there. And there's a clip where someone is lip reading, I will say that, but it does look like it, where he's pulled out and he says, "I can't pass to myself."
Wow.
Yeah. Now I knew he wasn't back in the game, and I thought that was weird, but at halftime I was watching Ozark and I went over about like 10 minutes because I didn't notice. Have y'all seen the rest of Ozark? Holy
I have.
shit.
Oh, it was a throw ride, right?
I can't sit down. I'll walk out the room. I literally, like, Wendy Bird's got to be one of the top
Oh my God! Don't get me started on Wendy Bird.
three worst characters of all.
Pure evil.
Yeah. The real question for Monty would have been like, would you rather have had Wendy Bird out there than back then?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went over and I was just like, oh, he's got to be in foul trouble. That's what I assumed. Because there's no way you regroup at halftime.
Too.
Yeah, I don't know. And I guess I
he
just didn't
did
question
have-
it because it was
Yeah.
such a bad performance by
Right.
them. You don't really like look into like, well, what's going wrong? You know what's
Yeah.
going wrong. They're
I
not
checked
hitting
out.
anything.
Yeah.
Spencer, didn't we? You know what I mean? Like, you know
Yeah.
what's going on with both sides. So you don't really have to like look into it too much. But it is so unusual after the fact that like Monty said that you find these little disagreements that people have picked up on. Thank God for Twitter, man. I would never have noticed any of that.
I didn't see any of this, and I was kind of checked out, so I didn't even realize that he
Exactly, because you don't want to watch that.
Yeah, it was on, but I wasn't really watching, and I assumed he was in foul trouble, but I felt like it was the fastest game ever. Like there was no whistles called at all.
I was at the game and I didn't even think to ask. I mean, I remember he came out at one point after picking up his third foul. And it also just felt like, oh, maybe they feel like they need Biyombo because he's had some good minutes at some point. I was there and I never would have noticed if they didn't ask that question. I will say that it felt like this had been, I can't say it felt like it'd been bubbling up, but there was something you said about, yeah, they probably needed to get him going like at some point in one of these games, just because every time the Mavs went small, like we were kind of waiting for it to have like a DeAndre Ayton like 28-point game. And it just never happened.
And
Yeah.
there's money on the line. Like it
Yeah.
sucks that all this is happening. It's a lot
Exactly.
of money.
I think I vaguely remember, and maybe I shouldn't even be saying this because it's a little bit irresponsible for me to be like, I think I remember. But when he was struggling earlier in his career, I won't say early, still early in his career, and the expectations on him were so high because of where he was drafted, position wise, obviously not within the franchise because they've never been anything in years except for like with this iteration of the team. I think there was some report, Harry, I would love a fact check on this, about him having some sort of personality clash. Do you guys remember that? And this was like very early on.
I mean, he definitely had like an up and down start to his career. Like, I mean, the whole like that whole coaching situation was kind of a disaster. Like Earl Watson kind of left in and then he had like a suspension. I think his second year. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it wouldn't
remember that.
shock me if there was some because I just think the whole team was kind of a mess.
I forgot about that suspension.
Me too.
That was a PED one, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but it like wasn't a PED, whatever.
Yeah. Another fact check, please.
Yeah, another fact
Yeah.
check. Yeah, my favorite podcast, Trillbillies, does when they call it like playing fast and loose with whatever. We're playing fast and loose with Suns history. The Patrick Beverly thing, so fucking boring to me.
Oh,
I just don't care.
God.
You know,
I do
Great.
not care. Why do we care what Pat Bev says? And it's just like he walked into that ESPN studio and was like, this is my time to be the biggest hater of all time. Like, what is that? How does that help Pat Bev just putting down Chris Paul in this way and making it seem like everybody thinks this and everybody says this? I think that was the most annoying part. It's like everyone thinks this. It's like, is that true? Or is it just you saying this right now?
I think it was Damian Lillard who tweeted, like, why do you think your word is law? Which is hilarious. And then he was like, nobody guard him. That was hilarious.
So
someone was like, his numbers are nice. And he's like, nobody guard Brock. It's like, oh.
Damian Lillard, I saw this. He said, he added Patrick Beverley and said, what did CP3 do to you? Which is an indication, A, that like they don't text, because you don't say this to someone publicly. You know, they don't text. So like, if you're not texting with Damian Lillard, I think that puts you in just a separate group of like branch of NBA tree or whatever.
Yep.
And then he said, yeah, he's on TV acting like his word is law, speaking on private conversations and preying on motherfuckers' downfall. This is weird behavior. And then he did the little, this emoji.
Yeah.
And he said, I ain't got a horse in the race. Which, you know, I don't know. That could be true, but also I think that's actually true, and it's just saying that it's weird, you know, regardless of whether CP is a friend or not. Like, it's just a weird thing to do, because it was.
So weird. It is weird. It was like a subcategory, too, of just this game and the Game 7s the whole day, and all of the NBA players who were not in the playoffs just really on their phones and active and tweeting, and it was like a whole separate character of who's talking about who.
Yeah. I think on the macro level, I enjoy it. Like, this is like when people talked about social media, theoretically, this is what they thought was going to happen. Like LeBron doing Q&As, like Damian Lillard be like, what are you doing, bro? Like Kevin Durant. Yeah, like Kevin Durant doing his Kevin Durant things. Like,
oh, that was so weird.
Yeah. So I don't like Pat Bev is his own thing where it's like, dude, this is lame. Like, everyone can see right through this. Like, he dropped 40 points on you a season ago and you got so mad you pushed him in the back. Like, this is, like, we see right through this. But in general, like, I enjoy, like, the high school lunch table aspect of all of it.
Right. I enjoy next season because the thing about Chris Paul is that he is way better than Patrick Beverley. So this will be fun next season.
Yeah.
In light of the Suns' loss, I want us to go around and talk about the biggest L we have either faced ourselves in public or have seen someone else face. Is yours buying that jersey?
No. Mine is so much worse than that. So this is a semi-public L that I'm taking public because I'm a believer in owning it, you know? Like, nothing can be embarrassing if you just choose to make it not embarrassing.
Right.
But this is one of the most simultaneously humiliating and harrowing moments of my life, okay? Like, equal parts embarrassing and scary. And it happened...
Hold on, pause. We have to agree, Harry, to not cut these out. Because this is for the people who watch the YouTube or listen to the pod. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're just with us on social media, you don't get these fucking embarrassing stories. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the YouTube, damn it.
So this happened Game 1 in Phoenix, okay? So
Recently.
Yes.
Oh, no.
A bad omen.
This was rough, okay? So in Phoenix, it's 100 degrees every single day, all right? And when you're traveling, it can be difficult to drink enough water, all right? It's not like, you know, at home you just pull up a glass, whatever. I feel like when I'm traveling, I'm constantly making a point, like I got to make sure I'm drinking enough water, all right? Mm-hmm. And so it's halftime of Game 1, and there's like a fridge filled with Dasani water bottles, like at the end of like the media table, okay? Or like in this little bar area where the media seating is. Now, the media seating for Game 1 was like really packed in. It was like 2 rows in the suite level. And you know what they do for these games? There's so many people there. They put the seats real close together. You know, there's like a ton of people's computer chargers and all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to go. It's halftime. This is the one good part of this story, is that because it was halftime, most of the people in the area had cleared out. Okay, so there's maybe 1 or 2 reporters left in the media at their media seat at this point. So I go to the fridge because I'm like, I'm gonna get like 3 or 4 water bottles that I can bring back with me if I don't have them, because I'm gonna be thirsty later. You know, it's the Phoenix, it's the dry heat. I'm dehydrated. They literally have like in the media workroom on the fridge one of those charts about like what color your urine should be. It's like make sure you're hydrated.
Like a Chip Kelly, whatever.
Yeah.
Hydration.
Why is that there?
It just, I'm telling you, you get dehydrated there within seconds. So I go and grab, I'm holding like 4 water bottles. Okay. So I already look like, okay, this guy's like freeloading off the NBA. I'm walking back to my seat and I have to walk by like 4 chairs. There's a ton of wires on the ground.
Oh no.
I trip. And I feel myself tripping. And I'm like, oh God. It's one of those slow trips too. So like my knees hit the ground. That was already bad. Then I face plant onto the fucking ground in between the 2 rows of media seats. This is so bad. Just wait. It's so much worse. There's one guy there. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know, man. I touch my face covered in blood. My media credential straight up looks like murder evidence. Like it is, my credential is covered in blood. Like it looks like oh, we gotta admit this. I pick up my glasses, which of course had fallen off my face, also soaked in blood at this point.
Oh my God.
And I'm touching my nose and I'm like, did I break my fucking nose? So now I literally see a tissue on the ground that I'm using to kind of stop the bleeding at this point. I'm walking over to the bathroom. Everyone's looking at me like, what happened to this guy? Thankfully, I had only like really busted up my lip. So like my nose wasn't broken. I wasn't having like a nosebleed or something like that. But I'm literally like washing blood off my face, trying to clean up my media credential a little bit in the bathroom, washing blood off my glasses. Some guy comes up to me and he's like, are you bleeding? And I was like, yeah, man. Like, clearly.
No, this isn't mine.
Yeah, clearly something went wrong here. If that had happened and all the other like media members had been there, I would have had to quit my job. There's no way I would have come back from that. Because I would have been like, oh, like, do you see the SI kid with the water bottles who busted his ass in Phoenix? Also, like, what if I had broken my nose? Would I have to call in a hospital to the footprint center? And then I'm like, we got to. Yeah, it was. I can't believe it happened. I really cannot. It was truly a public L.
Just so I'm not a monster, I'm going to do the obligatory, I'm glad you're okay.
Yes.
But that is also, because you're okay, such a funny fucking story.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is hilarious. Oh
my God.
Also, immaculate storytelling. Really setting it up with the waters. Like, we really understood why you were holding so many waters.
Yes.
The cords, how many people were there. Like, you set the scene.
Thank you.
And I'm so sorry for laughing so hard.
Every
night
after that, when I got up at halftime, I'm literally staring at the ground, walking so slowly, like feeling around for wires. Like, oh my God. Yeah.
You're literally like touching both sides of the table.
Yes,
so, like,
exactly.
what's
Yep.
wrong?
Yeah, like I'm walking across a suspension bridge or something. Like,
wow, you really, that was the assignment.
Yeah,
You got an A+.
That wins.
Yeah.
That wins.
That is
and
an
it's
L.
recent
Yeah.
too. That really helps.
Yeah.
A lot with this.
L's are age, independent. Really, so that's what. Yeah,
It's true.
It's true, and the worst ones stick with you.
God, I did not come with the good assignment.
The thing
after
about an
hearing that story.
injury, L, like when you get hurt in public, is that it is so deeply embarrassing, but also like you're in pain.
Yes,
you can't just
yes.
leave or you're
Yeah.
like you're not thinking properly. So you can't, like, what were you supposed to do? Like, oh, haha, laugh it off. No, you couldn't. Your nose was bleeding.
Exactly.
You didn't know, or your lip was bleeding.
Right.
You don't know what is wrong. You know exactly.
That's really the worst part. Is it's like you're embarrassed, but also you can't play it off because this thing needs immediate attention. Yeah.
Right. Right. I have to run to the bathroom because there's blood
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I heard that like young babies, when they hurt themselves and start crying, it's not because of the pain, it's because of how everybody reacts, and they're like, oh my god, something wild is going on.
I
You
also
heard that?
Interesting
Or
that you
read-
said young babies.
That's a young baby.
That whole thing was just like really worded
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
You heard it from somewhere? Like, what were you out
I'm
at?
just listening
dinner
to baby
and someone-
media. Yeah.
That's
Babies.
true, but
I
the
gotta keep-
setup and the young baby was
Young
very,
baby.
very
Alright,
funny.
well,
That's what happened
yeah,
with
I'm
my
obviously
nephew.
Not ready
My-
for
That is
parenthood.
an age range that does not exist. It's just redundant.
No, there are young babies.
They're infants.
No, they're like, can't talk. or
Nope,
can't-
they're all babies.
It's a baby.
Yeah.
All right. What I was trying to get to was there is also for OG Spinsters listeners a old Ariana Larnarski call that somebody would bust up their face at a Suns game.
Oh my god. It was you.
Oh my god! And you busted up your face.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do remember that.
It was
Yeah,
supposed to be.
She predicted. We did tarot readings, and she.
Oh my
predicted
God.
That. Yeah.
Wow.
But
I
that
know.
was the
Wow.
same. It was also the same year that, because that was last season.
It was
It was
last
last season.
season,
and that's when Devin Booker broke his.
right?
Yeah, he broke. I mean, it happened. Oh my god! What if it just keeps happening?
That place is cursed. Yeah.
And
Oh no.
okay, Rohan kind of initiated the DeAndre Ayton spiral. Is it possible that, and Rohan busted his face, is it possible that Rohan himself is a kind of conduit of the
It's
spiritual
some kind of negative
thing
being,
going on here?
a dark
yeah.
spirit hanging over the earth. Yeah.
I have told this about this movie before, and apparently I'm the only one who remembers it. But remember the Lindsay Lohan, some other guy, I think Chris Pine, one of the Chris's movie where it's called like Unlucky or something.
Yes.
And every time they kiss, the luck transfers. She's really lucky. He's really unlucky.
I do remember that.
No, but that's a great
be one of those
premise.
situations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd think
okay.
it'd be a good premise. It was a really bad movie. And even
was.
when I was really into, I mean, I still am, like bad rom-coms, I couldn't even do it. It was that bad. So, okay. We're going to do an ad, and then we're going to take an ad break, and then we're going to do, I guess, our L stories. Then we're going to do a Kevin Love line. We got an email from a listener, and then we're going to do things we're looking forward to in these upcoming series, including not busting our lips. Harry, do you told me you have an L story, right?
I do, yes.
Was it the young babies?
babies.
Yeah.
Very recent story.
Okay, I just shot you all a screenshot on Zoom,
Okay.
which is part of my L.
There's multimedia?
Yeah, it's multimedia. Well,
To download it.
Oh, look at your face. Oh.
this is for. I will paint a visual picture. I was memed basically at a Warriors Clippers 3 years ago, I think, game when the Warriors blew like a 20-point second half lead to the Clippers at home. And it actually got picked up by Sports Illustrated. Like, I remember the first place I looked is somebody sent me a Sports Illustrated Instagram post of me looking. Basically, I'm like distraught. I didn't even know this word, but it's surrender cobra. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
That's what that face is when you're looking really sad.
I bet
watching
we
your
all
team.
memed Harry before we knew him.
Yeah.
100%. And like all the comments everywhere are like, this Silicon Valley idiot can't just just became a fan of the Warriors like a year ago. And
Oh, look at your dad, half in frame.
yeah, exactly. So, and I gotta say, so it was obviously embarrassing on some level, though it was a little bit thrilling also, because the Warriors lose. I'm really frustrated. This was we had KD on our team. It was like we really should not have lost to this Clippers team. And I think like Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell combined for like 55 points.
It was a huge comeback, right?
Yeah, 31 points according to the screenshot.
Yeah. Oh, right. There you go. But it was kind of exciting to like just get a bunch of like 20 people texting me like, "You're on TV,"
Oh my God! But it was tweeted.
That's funny.
Oh, it was tweeted out by Barstool. Big Cat, what a nightmare!
Yeah,
That's the biggest L part, actually.
To be memed by a Barstool person. God.
I know. Yes, I was part of the
Terrifying.
the Barstool, extended humor universe for a second. And I'm trying to think. Let me send you. There's a lot of people saying I look like this one actor.
Many people are saying this. I look like this famous actor.
No, but not a good. Not like. Sorry, I didn't even mean it like that. Like a actor that plays 3 minutes of 15 movies.
So a steady working actor.
Yeah, are you? I'm sorry. Are you shaming
Yeah.
It's their job, Harry. God.
the hustlers of Hollywood who are just trying to make it?
Somebody who helps maintain the fabric of the movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Good
what
to
I
know.
meant. Yes.
Good
Yeah.
to know. Struggling actors.
Somebody compared me to some fucking loser. Some loser ass. No.
Wait, are you gonna send a picture of it?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was defending myself. Defending my honor. Hold on. Okay, here it is.
This is thrilling podcast.
Yeah,
The
right.
suspense.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get this. I'm gonna get this.
Man.
Harry, I gotta say, you've got great eyebrows in this picture.
People were making fun of it. People were saying that they're too bushy.
That was in an era where it was still thin was in. It
Right.
like literally the year after that, it flipped to thick. Oh,
You do look like that guy.
guy.
You do look like that guy.
Yeah,
Clearly.
you do look like that
You do.
guy.
Yeah.
I have
Who's
no
that
idea
guy?
what his name is.
I think
Yeah,
he's
Oh, is
in.
this super bad?
It is. I think this guy's in The
Superbad.
Departed. I was watching The
He's in
Departed last night.
Yes.
Wait, I have them side by side on my
It's
computer right now.
uncanny.
I think it's also the yellow shirt
Yep.
in this photo.
That helps.
We'll put it on Twitter or we'll put it somewhere. But
You
Does
guys have
Harry
the
look
same
like
amount
this
of
guy?
mustache too.
Yeah.
Like a little.
wow.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
So maybe it was a
This
public
is
W,
a good comment. That was
know.
accurate.
Yeah.
I had an L story for myself, but it's not really that bad compared to your guys. So, but I do have one that is somebody else's that you might be interested in. That is more interesting. I don't mind telling mine. It's just like I don't want to do the thing where I'm not also giving up as embarrassing of information. Do you know what I mean?
Of
Yeah,
course.
that's fair.
But hey,
don't have any.
I happily told my L story, so there's no pressure.
Yeah, I feel
Okay.
unburdened.
Well, good, Harry, and I'm glad that we got to see that you look like an actor who you despise the middle working
I
class.
survived, so really it's a triumph.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
survived.
You did survive.
Yeah.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
Harry, are you in the mood to beep today? Do you have?
Sure. Hey, I'm already, cutting a couple.
You don't have to beep the dad's name, just beep the son's name for me in this story. Okay, so as you all know, because I never stop talking about it, I am from Kentucky, but I went to middle school and high school in a very rural little town out in the middle of nowhere, and there is an eclectic group of people there. And this is not something I was present for, but it is a story that I 100% know to be true. One of my best friends was there. Many people were there. So this takes place at a lodge. There's a place in Indiana that makes fake snow. It's called Perfect North Lodge, and we go skiing and snowboarding there. It is in the middle of nowhere if you didn't know where I was at the time, which is truly the middle of nowhere. So this was actually, to me, like a very populated place, and it took us forever to drive up there because we were truly in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so let me start the story by saying that this guy's name is but you're going to believe it. Okay, so dad is a guy named Wild Bill, and he is a trapper, a career trapper, and Jordan, you know what a trapper is.
For the sake of the story, yes.
Does anyone here know what a trapper is?
Like
1,000% no.
Rohan?
It's like a
bear trapper?
Yeah, like hunting adjacent.
Yes, like you trap
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah.
You trap in.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's also a different term in like a trap house.
Yeah. A career trapper can mean so many things.
So
now.
many
Yeah,
things.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's true.
But
For the sake of the story, he's an animal trapper.
Once you said his name was Wild Bill, I picked up
Yeah,
on the context clues. Yeah,
That's where I went.
yeah,
Yeah. Definitely.
So, my friend, we'll call him Ryan. Ryan and were going to go ski at Perfect North Lodge, right? Whatever. Perfect North Slopes, whatever the fuck it was called. And they were getting ready to go, and then dad, Wild Bill, told him, you can't go. You're not allowed to go, like, for some reason or another. I don't know why. And they got in an argument about it. And what did I fucking call it? Ryan is driving up there, whatever. And like, fuck this. And he's like, you know what? Whatever, fuck you. I'm going. He goes up to Perfect North. They're sitting in the lodge, right? Eating, probably taking a break from skiing. All of a sudden, Wild Bill comes in. And he takes a beaver tail out and starts beating with it in front of everyone in the lodge. And it's
A real life beaver tail?
well, not live, girl. It's dead.
Whoa.
It's a dead beaver.
Like a real...
He done trapped it. Yeah. His daddy beat him with a beaver tail.
With a trapped beaver tail.
Yeah.
That's why the trapper was so important. Wow.
Yes.
I would not have survived that with my secondhand embarrassment. I would have exploded.
I would have absolutely melted onto the fucking floor. Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big public
It's
L.
making me
Anytime you're-
uncomfortable just hearing about it.
Me too. I'm picturing
to
it.
me, that is the funniest shit in the world. But
What is more cringy to you? Because these to me are like the two most uncomfortable things that you could happen in a public setting, or like not even in a public setting, but when you're with these other people. Which is more awkward? Them getting like their parents getting mad at them, or a couple getting into like an obvious argument that they're trying not to escalate?
well, it depends on a couple of things. Parents getting mad is universally embarrassing. You know, we've all been there. I'm guessing that if any of us become parents, then you will start to it'll start to resonate more with the parent, and you'll be like upset. You'll be like, ugh, I get it, like my kid's being loud in public, and that's embarrassing to me. For everyone else, if you don't have kids, if you're close to kids age, you're like, wow, that's really fucking embarrassing. I side with the kid. I have memories, whatever. But couples, if it's your friends and you hate them, not them, but like you hate the partner.
Yeah. Because
You
you
know,
know the
you love your friend.
backstory. Yeah. You know more.
I'm a little bit happy. If it's a couple I do not know at all, I enjoy it unless
I
it
enjoyed
starts to get like too far.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's a couple I don't know at all, this happened to me on a plane once. I really enjoy it because it's hilarious. But what if it's a couple you know and you know both of them? Because that can be so awkward.
It's
That-
so awkward. That's happened
That
to me
is
like on
awkward.
a double date.
Oh,
with
that's the
friends,
worst.
And you're just like, I know more. I am friends with the woman, so I know what you guys typically argue about, and you guys are not trying to bring this up right now, and this is very awkward. I'm gonna try to quickly change the subject.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm already very uncomfortable.
It's like, you try to change the subject with like a joke or something, but you can tell they're not ready to move on from it. Oh, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
Why is
that's
it
rough.
always airports and airplanes, by the way? Last time when I was flying out of LaGuardia like a month ago, the same thing happened. It was so embarrassing. Like you could tell he would not talk to her in line at all. Like he was pissed. Yeah. Yeah, he was pissed. But anyway, yeah, so embarrassing. That's a good question. I definitely go with couples
I go
can
with the
be
couple.
Yeah.
enjoyable. I mean, when it's passive aggressive, when the results of it don't entirely matter to you.
Yeah.
Then definitely that.
My story is very quick. It was when I was in elementary school. It's just one of the first ones that came to my mind. We've already talked about what type of recess kid I was. It was very intense. I was very intense. I played all the sports, especially basketball. And I was also the kid that had every single graphic tee imaginable that had all of the sayings on it.
Like and one tees.
Yes,
Yeah.
but then like the cute girly ones too. So this one said like beauty and brains, and it was brown, which is a very tough color in general. And the letters were in gold. But I was very proud of this shirt, and
like
I
like a Bayer aspirin box, like just the brown and gold.
hey, early 2000s,
Yeah.
man. It was everything. It was everything. And I went too hard in PE. I played basketball, and it was very hot in Sacramento, and I sweat a lot. Haley knows this about me. The pit stains are not my friend. And so I was wearing this brown shirt, and the pit stains really took over. They were massive on this shirt, and I was so embarrassed that I faked sick so my mom could pick me up so no one could see my pit stains.
Oh, baby Jordan. Young baby Jordan.
Young, sweaty baby Jordan.
Oh, no.
It was pretty bad. My mom was like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I had to rush out of a meeting, like all this stuff.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, "I'm fine, Mom. Just a lot of
You
sweat.
just drive
take
home?
me home."
Brown is a tough color.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like
Tough
darker brown,
color.
okay, but lighter brown, yeah. You
Also,
do
not to
sweat,
sound like a middle school health teacher, but like dealing with sweat, not easy at that age, you know?
Not easy.
Just we're not prepared. We're not equipped.
Not easy.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just like not prepared, and so my whole thought process was like, you have to leave. Like
Yeah.
you can't even sit here anymore.
Yeah.
It was early in the day too. It was like first recess. It's tough.
Yeah,
That's
that
tough.
is tough.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna do the Kevin Love line, and then I swear to God, we're gonna talk about the games that are coming up. Jordan, you want to read it?
Sure. All right, so this is our Kevin Love line. Kevin Love the show. Let's see what you did there. Unfortunately, I'm here asking for advice about things you like to do when you get broken up with. Any ways that have worked for you to help get over someone. Then ask some space and time to grieve the end of a relationship and take stock of lessons learned. Any advice on the possibilities of making a friendship work with an ex, signs that that's a good idea or bad idea, and how to approach it, things to avoid. Ooh.
What should we call this person as we talk about this situation?
A Kevin Love teammate.
Evan?
Evan.
Okay,
Evan. Great.
Well, this is a very healthy response to a breakup, I have to say,
It is.
first of all. And
It is.
the
When
email,
when it started with the breakup, I was getting real nervous. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, especially when you get broken up with.
Yeah.
It
With,
hurts for
yeah.
both people, but I definitely think, of course, obviously it stings more for the person who's been broken up with. Some of the email we did not read because that was Evan's choice, but you mentioned wanting to remain friends, and that is, I think, the thing to think about when everything else is clear. I think that's the last thing to
Yeah.
think about, because space is healthy. Relationships that are beneficial don't necessarily have friendships that are beneficial don't have an expiration date. Like there's no reason that you couldn't be friends later on, as long as it's good for both people and makes sense for both people. So that's the thing I would think about last. This isn't a projection. This is also mentioned in the email, I'm so for therapy, talking it out with whoever you want to talk it out with, parents, friends, having that open dialogue of, man, today was a bad day and I thought I was over it. That's good because it's not going to be linear, and really checking in on how you feel and how over it you are or not over it, or what are the lingering questions you have. All of those things need to be answered before you enter a friendship with this person, because the answer you might come to is that you can't be friends with this person.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes
Sometimes
also
it's
okay.
what it is.
Yeah.
That was very good, Haley.
That was a good, that was great. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, I think you're right. Like, you have to just be really honest with yourself. You know what I mean? And that's like a great reason to go to therapy, because it's a great space to be. Hopefully that's where you can be the most honest with yourself and with someone else. Because, I think you bring up a good point. Like, you could think about it for a long time, and still come out on the other end and realize, like, maybe a friendship is not going to be feasible for you. And that's also okay. That doesn't make you, a bad person, or, it's not easy for everyone. But I think you have to make sure you're being really honest with yourself about what your intentions are and what you're hoping to get out of the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you just want to be close to them because you still have feelings for them, that's not entirely a good start to a friendship.
Sure.
Right.
And as far as ways to get over it, doesn't only have to be serious things like talking about it and going to therapy. For me, what helps always is like travel. Like, I'll just book a bunch. I'll get in a bunch of debt. I'm not even kidding. Credit cards, I mean, maybe that's not great advice, but traveling is nice. We're in a space where you kind of can again. So, responsibly, I think that's anything that's new always helps me. And I wonder if that's just a me thing, but like I started learning a language after my last one. I took up photography and I'm pretty bad at it, but it's just, it's just a hobby. I don't have to be good at it. Anything that makes you feel, exactly. Like you're doing something new, because when you are learning something new, that is actually the act of going forward. You are continuing on with your life. So it just feels like you're turning over a new leaf, even if it in the beginning it feels forced or whatever. That's another way to have a full life without someone, because the chances are you were texting this person regularly, you were calling them, you're hanging out with them. So you're going to have a lot of gaps in your time that feel, a lot of like looking at your phone and just thinking, oh my God, like nobody's texted me. When in reality, like maybe it's just usually when you're not in a relationship, your friends that text you like a couple times a day or whatever. So just fill up that time with other things that are new, that you haven't done, that you might like or you might not like, but you are in the act of doing them moving forward.
It's really good. Also, I just blocked them on everything and didn't want to see them.
Yeah.
But this seems like it was a little more mutual. But I think it helped, because as soon as you see them just, how much we scroll. And if that just, their picture just casually happens, like you're not ready for that sometimes. And that just brings back a lot of emotions and memories. So that's just a thing to protect yourself. Sometimes it's not out of ill intent, but you're protecting yourself because you are in therapy or you are trying to check in with yourself. You're trying new things. So give yourself a break, and you can enter that, see their profile, see their tweets when you want to. And that's why I blocked everything. So.
That's good advice. And even you can do like the softer mute if you're ready for perhaps sometimes the accidental seeing it. But seeing that on your own terms, like their stuff is good. I'd also say avoid anywhere they're going to be. You do that thing internally where something's not a good idea. Like, you might see that person somewhere, but you do it anyway because you know
hope,
what?
Just in case.
Yeah, just
let me just put on some makeup and get a good outfit just in case I might run into them real quick.
And that person's going to be there because you know them. It's not going to be an accidental run-in.
Yeah.
So I would just avoid those things. And as far as like Jordan, you just said, looking at their tweets and Instagrams or whatever on your own terms, I would also say don't do that for a while. Even if you think you're okay with it, just don't look.
Don't do it.
Mute and don't look. Don't look at their Instagram because it's just going to hurt. If they've
gonna
posted
hurt.
nothing, what's the best that's going to happen? You get like a slight dopamine that like nothing's changed even because you're not exactly in each other's life anymore. The upside to that is not worth the downside.
I would definitely allow yourself to ignore all social media. It's fine. Again,
Yeah.
it's like don't put too many expectations on yourself, because then you'll feel like you need to hit certain check marks, or you feel like you'll let yourself down. Like don't be like, I'm never talking to this person again, or we're definitely being friends. Like, try not to hold yourself to a standard, because if you slip up or anything like that, I think you'll start to beat yourself up, and that's not good either.
Yeah, that's so good.
That is really, yes, that's also
true.
great advice. Yeah, be nice to yourself, and try not to compare yourself to anything else. Talk to people you trust. You'll be okay. Also, the last thing I'll say is just don't talk to anybody who feels like they need to give you updates on that person or set a boundary. I don't want to hear about them. We don't like those people.
No.
I think you're trying to help me or whatever, but like I don't want to hear about that person. I don't want to, whatever. Set that boundary, and people should respect that.
Life is really all about boundaries. I'll just say that. It really is. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like benching your star player when they're not willing to be a teammate.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, Rohan has run out of time, but I don't know, it's putting you on the spot a little bit. I don't know if you want to come back to talk about the conference finals
Yeah, sure.
some other
Let's
time,
do it.
aka
Yeah.
really soon.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Since we did not, hey, we talked a little bit about basketball in the beginning,
We did.
but other
Kinda.
things took over. I had
We
to tell
can-
you guys about pastries and my neck of the woods.
I had to, talk through that deeply humiliating moment in my life. And now it's out in the open. You know what I mean? It's just it's out there for everyone.
It's
to-
out there. Yes.
We can make picks real quick. We can make picks.
Oh, let's make picks. Also, that's another thing, Evan. Worse things could happen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
You could
could-
get beat over the head with a beaver tail by your dad.
You could be thinking, I'm gonna have to call an ambulance to an NBA arena, and they're gonna show up, and it's for someone who fell, someone who literally fell down.
I forgot the
downplaying
fake
their
name. I was
fake.
like, who is Evan?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, love you, Evan. Okay, let's make our picks, and then we'll talk about these perhaps with Rohan next episode. I just don't want to obligate you to anything.
Listen,
that'd be
I'm
fun.
chilling. I'm not, I'm out here podcasting. It's all good. Like, let's rock.
Potential two-parter.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interested actually, Rohan, because you're Heat heavy. I don't know if
I'm a Heat
whatever.
fan. You can say I'm a Heat fan, but I think
All
I'm
right.
picking the Celtics in that series,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's more of a way to deflect. It takes all the pressure off me. Every Heat win is gravy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's a good
I'm
strategy.
gonna say Boston in 5, and now if you lose now if they win in 6, it's like, well, I picked you in 5, so it's a disappointment.
Yeah, completely. I have
Yeah.
been incredibly wrong this playoffs. More.
Same.
Yeah, just really wrong.
I mean, the Suns didn't help, so
Yeah,
No.
that's who I was definitely wrong
Yeah.
about. I'm like, I got the Suns this year. It's Chris
Yeah.
Paul's year. Couldn't be
Right.
more wrong.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go Celtics. I'm not doing a game prediction because I don't know. I'm just gonna enjoy the ride and nurse my wounds a little
Yeah.
bit because I have been pretty wrong. And if the Mavs make it out, then everything I know about basketball is wrong.
Same.
I will really have to reconsider. You know what is interesting, though, is that the Mavs are the ones who broke through most recently unexpectedly.
yeah,
You could say it was the Raptors, but they had Kawhi.
Kawhi, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
unexpected, but the Mavs have done it once. However, it's got to be the Warriors. I'm predicting Warriors Celtics finals. How about you guys?
I'm gonna join in on that.
Yeah,
I think the Warriors.
unfortunately. Yeah, I think the Celtics, just because of how they've been shooting and mixed with their good defense, it's hard to beat them, I feel like. I'm also not going to do a games because I
like that.
That
I like that.
doesn't
Why are we
matter anymore.
conforming? It really doesn't.
Yeah, it
I'm
doesn't matter.
stealing
Game
that.
sevens are
Yeah.
preseason games now,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I think the Warriors, but again, I kind of want to be wrong because if the Mavs pull this out, that would be amazing. It would be
Yeah.
so sorry, Harry. I'm so sorry, but no one expected them to even get this far. So now I'm
Yeah.
like, keep going, go all the way. But I think the Warriors will have them. But hopefully the basketball is good and we can watch some fun stuff.
You know, I think this is going to be a legacy-defining playoffs for the Warriors. You know,
Wow.
we bring the gang back together. We beat the Mavs, and then we beat the Celtics in the finals. That's my unbiased take.
Yeah,
That's-
very
that's-
unbiased. Very
Well,
unbiased.
more importantly, that's not coming from a Silicon Valley.
A man who
Yeah,
surrender Cobra.
Yeah.
Surrender Cobra. Yeah, and was featured on Barstool Sports. That's not our Harry.
Barstool Harry.
Oh no.
Oh.
All right. Good thing to end on.
Well, that's our show. Please keep leaving us voicemails and emails. The Kevin Love line is open. I feel like this was a great question, great answers. Hopefully you guys take that with you. Call us at 502-874-4453 or send us an email at spinsters@bluewirepods.com to be featured on the show. And shout out, as always, to our non-Barstool producer, Harry Krinsky.
We love you, Evan.